Well, while we're of course live here from Sriharikota outside the Satish Dhawan space station, we'll of course be talking about the Aditya L1 mission. Before that, there's an important update that's come in from Karnataka, where the only MP from the JDS from Karnataka, that is Prajwal Revanna, the grandson of Deve Gowda, the former Prime Minister of India, has been disqualified by the Karnataka High Court as an MP. Now, the reason here being, he had filed a false affidavit is what the charge was. They had moved the High Court, a petition was filed, and now it looks like there's a lot of trouble coming his way. Now, this comes after a complaint was filed by a Hassan-based lawyer with the State Election Commission alleging that Prajwal Revanna had concealed his property details and even submitted a false affidavit during the nomination submission. Now, more importantly here, the then BJP candidate from Hassan, A Manju, also brought this to the notice of the courts. Interestingly here, he later joined the JDS just before the Karnataka Assembly elections in May and won polls from the Arkalgod Assembly constituency. Now, Prajwal Revanna, of course, is known for being the third youngest member of the parliament in India. He's the son of former Karnataka State Minister for Public Works, H.D. Revanna, and also the grandson of the former Prime Minister, Mr. H.D. Deve Gowda. Now, while his disqualification, of course, his disqualification, the JDS at this point in time has lost the lone MP ahead of 2024. Whether this is a setback or not, we have a panel of guests. We'll be discussing that with them. We have a few reactions, I believe, that's coming up. Let's listen in.
But what is the court has said, ma'am?
No, court has said that we have proved the case, not that he is guilty of a corrupt practice.
Okay, ma'am.
His election is held to be null and void. Apart from that, his father, Mr. Revanna, he is also party to corrupt practice. Hence, notice is issued to him also.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, to make him also, his election will also go.
Yeah. Okay.
And then A Manju, who was the petition in the other case, now he is the JDS candidate. He is an MLA now.
Yeah,
he is also to be a corrupt person who is responsible for corrupt practice.
Okay.
So three of them, Mr. Revanna, A Manju, then Prajwal Revanna. Prajwal is certified. For these two persons, notice is ordered as per law.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I just want to check, ma'am. There's hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so only Prajwal Revanna has been disqualified, no, ma'am, as MP?
Election is certified.
Okay, election has been nullified. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So far as the Revanna and A Manju are concerned, in law, notice has to be issued before they are disqualified. So court has issued notice now to both of them.
Well, let's open this up. We have Madhu N. Rao, spokesperson from the BJP, Dhruv Jatti from the Congress party joins us, Prashanti S.G. from the JDS, also Dr. Asha Krishnaswamy, senior journalist as well with us at this point in time. Let's take this across firstly to Prashanti S.G. How do you really view this? Because you had one single MP and in the run-up to 2024, now you probably are looking at having none. This must be a big setback.
Yeah, definitely. This is a great setback to JDS, and this was definitely not unpredictable. It was unpredictable. But what I see here is let the truth be prevailed. Okay, and see, it can be very well seen that the petitioner, A Manju, he went to the election commission and post the election, he got defeated actually. So that is why he could not take the defeat gracefully. That is where everything started. But the same person, irony is that he's joined JDS right now, and we are damn sure that our advocates and the lawyer, they're already discussing and they've approached the Supreme Court. So they have challenged the Supreme Court of this judgment by the High Court. So I think definitely they will come out with a clean chit.
No, it's ironical that you say probably he didn't take defeat that easily. But the question here is, if you filed a false affidavit and if the High Court believes that you have, then there's something wrong with the affidavit that you have filed. And somebody who comes from a family that is so well versed in politics, shouldn't be doing something like this. If there were facts that were concealed, it is something to be looked into, isn't it? How can you blame Mr. A Manju for actually going to court because he believes that a false affidavit was filed?
It was not false affidavit. They have not disclosed the information. That is what actually it means. So Prajwal Revanna did not disclose the information. So, that has to be taken into consideration. And what is that he has not disclosed? That the court will definitely say, and it is right now, it's a contempt of court that, we shouldn't discuss about what the court's judgment is. But let's see, we have approached Supreme Court. Our lawyers have been talking to they were thinking of going to the Supreme Court, and higher ups will look into this matter, and whatever which was not disclosed, we will investigate on that. What was not, and let the court also investigate on that, and we are all ready for it.
Mr. Rao, what would you make of
Prajwal
this?
Revanna-
Because initially, of course, we had Prashanti there say that he was quite unhappy that he didn't win, and that's the reason he probably moved court. But now he's left to join the JDS itself. So it's a tricky situation for you to answer. But nonetheless, I'd like to know what your take is in the matter.
Because even Prajwal Revanna has filed a case
Deepak.
against him. It was a counter attack on A Manju. So now there are chances where we are not sure. But
Well, hold on. Let's have Mr. Rao come in. I'll come back to you, Prashanti. I'll come back to you.
Deepak, good evening to you and all the panelists. Now, this is a really shocking thing which has happened. Of course, this has come from the High Court of Karnataka. I only expect the JDS to introspect into what has happened. The fact of the matter remains, this is a very serious allegation. Forget about allegation. The allegation has been proved in a court of law, that too by an election petition before the High Court of Karnataka. Now, the High Court of Karnataka has come to a categorical conclusion that there is a practice. I mean, what has been done by Mr. Prajwal Revanna is wrong. And what has he done? He has suppressed the information. He has not given correct information. Rather, and also he has given false information with regard to properties and properties held by him and his family. Therefore, there is a lot of allegation which seems to have been told as correct, and the court has come to a conclusion. The fact of the matter is, one more baffling thing about the matter is, the High Court has also told that there should be action taken against H.D. Revanna and also brother Suraj Revanna, because there seems to be corrupt practices practiced by them as well. Now, the fact of and one more thing, I mean, really, this is a shocking thing which has happened today, because the petition was filed, the petitioner, rather to say, was Mr. A Manju. Of course, that point of time, he was contesting on a BJP ticket, and thereafter now he is in JDS. Now, if the JDS were to tell anything, perhaps they have to go and tell their own party men as to what is the reason why did you not even take back the petition? Why did you even continue with it? So therefore, today, what has happened to
it seems like there are many issues here as far as the JDS is concerned. Well,
I will just finish it off.
Yeah.
What has happened today to Mr. Prajwal Revanna? I think in politics, it's not about, see, for example, if you were to compare some other cases, this is a case where he has given false information and suppression of facts. Being a member of parliament, filing wrong affidavit and also suppression of information, I think it doesn't go well down in politics. At least this should be a lesson for most of the politicians. I agree on that. But I think this is a damning day for JDS, because they had only one MP in the parliament and they're going to lose it.
Well, we have, hold on, Mr. Rao, we have Mr. A Manju, former minister, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Manju, you've been the petitioner in this particular case. I want to take this question right across to you at this point in time. Yes, you are in the JDS at this point in time, but this was a case that you filed back in the year 2019. Take us through the details, and how do you really look at the verdict that's come in from the Karnataka High Court?
See, earlier 2019, I was a petitioner for this case. And definitely, I found some fishy in the affidavit in Form 26. But they have shown not bank account false.
Yeah.
They questioned that. So naturally, they went on, they got the stay, then I went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court redirected to the High Court. and High Court will pass an order now. At least finally we got over the faults of Deve. It is not right. This is a lesson for everyone, including me, in the whole country. Who contest for the election, irrespective of party, they have to be perfect in their filing Form 26. So this is the thing. I fought election. I lost against him also. And I fought. Now, case has come to some certain final verdict. And now, I don't know what they're going to do. Now, unfortunately, I'm also in JDS also. I'm a member of assembly from JDS. So that time when I contested against him and I put a case also, this was not, I was in BJP. I fought against JDS and BJP, JDS and Congress was together. Then I lost by 52,000 votes. But now, luckily, we got this thing. And now I'm in the same party. I will definitely consult with senior leaders in the party also. And what best we can take in the Supreme Court, what they'll take the decision, left to that. But one thing I can tell you, see, nobody should show false affidavit to the voters. This is but my appeal is, my request is through your media.
If you are telling us that it was a false affidavit for the benefit of our viewers, Mr. Manju, since you filed a petition yourself, take us through the details. What were the elements that were missing from the affidavit, or what was the false claim that was made?
See, in the bank account, he showed the false bank account, and some properties also is not shown, and some shares is not mentioned. That was my question. I questioned only relating to this. He's given a false affidavit to the election commission. All this has to be wrong. It has to be he should be squashed, and second man should be elected. That was my claim. Now somehow I'm also in the same party now. Let's see what they're going to take. I want to know the whole verdict of the court decision. I'll take the copy, then I will decide.
Okay, I also want to quickly ask you here, the JDS, we had a spokesperson, a debate is right now on, where they're saying that probably you were disgruntled because you lost, and that's the reason the petition was filed. The option is available in front of the Supreme Court, and they will get justice. There is, the opinion of the JDS at this point.
No. See, that time, whether JDS or BJP or Congress, that doesn't matter. Whoever done mistakes, whether me or the Congress or Dela or BJP, and that is questionable for everyone who are contest against the other candidates. So they find the mistakes, they pass an order. That's it.
Okay. Were you there in court today when these proceedings happened, or did you see it, online? How do you really look at this pan out in the coming days, especially for Mr. Prajwal Revanna?
I was not in the court. I was in native. Then when I on the way to Bangalore, I got the message. This is the thing. Then the TV people and asked me. I said, this is the fact. What I told you, same thing I've explained to them also.
Right, Mr. A Manju, thank you there for joining us and giving us those details. A Manju, their former minister, he was, of course, during the Siddaramaiah regime, and more importantly, of course, was a petitioner in this particular case as he joined the BJP, contested, lost the Hassan poll, but at that point in time, he believed that there was something that was wrong in the affidavit, and finally, in the Karnataka High Court, it seems like he has won the first battle. Who will win the war? That remains to be seen in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections. Let's get back to our guests at this point in time. Dr. Asha, I want to really bring you in here. How do you really view this? Because this is a huge setback for the JDS here in Karnataka, because their performance last time around, both for the Congress and the JDS, was pretty abysmal. Because, it was really the BJP that bulldozed through both these parties in the Lok Sabha elections in 2019. Now, when they look at 2024, considering JDS is not even a part of the INDA alliance, now their sole MP being disqualified, does it fare well for the party here?
Good evening. No, definitely it's a major setback to JDS more than anybody. is Mr. Devegoda's, his family cannot say that they didn't know how to file a petition before the election commission. There can't be any excuses because they are so well versed. Father was a minister, even now he's MLA, his mother is a politician, brother is an MLC, uncle is former chief minister, and now also party president. And there can't be any excuse for not, taking meticulous way of filing nomination. That cannot be an excuse. And this is a hope this would set a precedent for all political parties and politicians that they can't go on, there can't be any violations in filing papers. And in this case, as Ms. Pramila Nesargi pointed out, not only Mr. Prajwal Revanna, his father Revanna, and then brother Suraj, all will get show cause notice. Family, the two elected representatives will get now show cause notice. It's a big lesson for all politicians who try to manipulate and then meticulously. Of course, I wonder from 2019 to in next 6 months elections will be held. Till then, this proceeding went on, and they go to Supreme Court, and it bounced back to High Court. Now again, it is going to be challenged. So whole 5 years, it's almost lost in legal battle. But still, it is going to be a precedent, because if at all this High Court verdict is going to be upheld, we don't know what turn it takes. 6 years disqualification. We have to see how Mr. Revanna and his another son Suraj would be treated legally now. So how fast the case proceeds, that should be seen. And then he is the third youngest MP in India, and this kind of record is not at all good. And one more, I feel that we need to have fast track court. When Mr. Jaitley was law minister, this debate started that we need to have a fast track court to deal with political related, election related matters, but that has not come through. I think this is the high time to think about how we can handle election petitions.
I think that's a very valid point you made there, Dr. Asha, because, we have just about 8 months to go probably before we have another Lok Sabha election. And if the court has taken all of these years, then we had an MP who probably didn't deserve to sit in that position, didn't deserve to sit in the parliament, and probably one would say a few years too late.
This is the second case, as I'm seeing, in Tumkur rural district. Mr. Suresh Gowda, an MLA now, he fought for nearly 4.5 years, and then finally JDS candidate was disqualified. So it took such a long battle, it is time. I think if election commission, and then see, because Mr. Manju and one more person, Devaraje Gowda, went to court, all these things came out. Even Mr. Manju, the court verdict I have on my phone, I made to read. It is a huge document, 254 pages. There it says that even Mr. Manju's name, they say that corrupt practices, that's what Ms. Pramila Nesargi pointed out. Petitioner also is not spared in this. So if cases, I think election affidavits are well studied, and if it goes to court, and if meticulously officers do their job, I think a lot more politicians will be in trouble across the country. Because somebody moved court, this came out.
Okay, Dhruv.
What about corruption and elections?
Okay, Dr. Asha, Dhruv Jatti is with us. He comes from a political family himself. Probably, a lot of lessons to learn for him. If he decides to file an affidavit anytime soon, he'll make sure that everything, is in order, isn't it, Dhruv?
Of course, Deepak. But the question here with Prajwal Revanna is that whether he was aware of the 20 lakhs that he received and, the 30 crore supposed ownership of a marriage hall, or whether it was the JDS that went on to loot Karnataka, that they have no idea about the assets that they made. Now, keeping aside the points that were put across by both parties put together, let's remember that the BJP and the JDS seem to share a very large bonhomie in the last few months. And it's interesting to see how the Bharatiya Janata Party goes on to wash its hands away from this. And the JDS must surely introspect as to what an alliance partner the Bharatiya Janata Party is at this point of time. And keeping aside, the nuances of the larger picture of whether of how it is a great lesson for many politics to come very clean with the affidavits put together. Another interesting point over here is that of A Manju. And this shows that political leaders need to be very sure of their ideologies and which parties they belong to. Because if you look at it right now, the JDS has its house in dismissal. There is no consensus at all put together. Their own leader is rebelling against their high command. So this, on the whole, is in fact a great lesson. Karnataka politics never disappoints you, Deepak, and this is another episode of what drama that we keep seeing across the entire sort of diaspora. And 2024 is going to be a great election, and the Congress party is looking forward to it.
I want to understand if you could once again explain what relation are you bringing, A Manju, the BJP, and this particular issue. If you could take us through that, Dhruv.
See, Deepak, the JDS and the Bharatiya Janata Party have had a hidden alliance put together for the past few months. There is a bonhomie that the two parties have been sharing. The BJP is extremely reliant on the JDS in the state assembly as an alliance partner together. Now, when the JDS itself has its house in dismissal, under what circumstances does the Bharatiya Janata Party have a strong alliance? And vice versa, how does the JDS end up trusting the Bharatiya Janata Party when the BJP doesn't stand with them on such an issue? It's as simple as that.
But they've never spoken about an alliance. The BJP has never spoken about an alliance with the JDS. In fact, for Mr. Kumaraswamy swearing in, it was the Congress leaders who were there.
Deepak, I'm talking about a hidden alliance, and you have also seen that the JDS weren't part of the India meetings that have put forth together, and that there have been many rumors of the JDS aligning with the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm speaking about a hidden alliance that's here altogether, and this is a great lesson. It looks like Karnataka is not going to have an opposition even in 2024, and that seems to be a matter of fact.
Well, Mr. Rao, would you want to respond to that? No opposition in 2024 as well, because he's dismissing the opposition right now with you having 66, MLAs, but without a leader of the opposition and, no change in the president. The pot shots continue from the Congress and the JDS.
Deepak, I did not want to talk about all these things because the discussion was not about it. I am pulled into this discussion, so you have to give me the courtesy of 30 seconds to rebut. I think Dhruv Jatti should understand that his party is a decimated party with 44 seats in 2019 and 52 seats in 2014. So it's a decimated party. You did not even have a capacity or eligibility to have a LOP. Forget about appointing. We will appoint because we have eligibility. So let that be aside. Point one. Point two. Let me remind the Congress party, since they have poked the nose, let me remind the Congress party, when this case, Mr. Devaraje, Gowda and Manju were there, they applied before the district commissioner for providing the data. The district commissioner, which was under the control of the Congress and the JDS, did not provide the data. At that point of time, they had to file an affidavit. They had to file a petition before the High Court to ask them to give the data. This is the way in which the JDS and the Congress were operating in Karnataka. Let me remind Mr. Dhruv Jatti, before pointing fingers, I think you need to point fingers at yourselves. In this very same case, what happened? So therefore, let's not take pot shots at each other. If you take pot shots, then I will have to shoot you. The point is simple. What has been done by Prajwal Revanna is wrong. Why don't we all accept it? It's the court which has given a finding. And I was just wondering as to what Mr. Manju was telling on the television now, saying that I want everyone to learn lesson. I want everyone to teach lesson. In such a case, insist the Congress government to take a suo motu complaint against Prajwal Revanna, because this is a criminal prosecution needs to be launched against him.
Okay, a quick word from Prashanti. Okay, Mr. Rao, I gave you your time. Let's bring in Prashanti. I'll have to wrap after this. Prashanti, what's the next plan of action with 0 MPs going into 2024? With talks of some JDS leaders wanting to leave, you in fact had Mr. Deve Gowda appeal to the workers, saying at this age, do not abandon me. So it is a very precarious situation for the JDS.
See, Deepak, actually, the court is we will see, we have already challenged the court, Supreme Court, and now we are waiting for the judgment, and that's secondary. I wanted, reply to Mr., the Congress spokesperson. He was talking about the corruption. See, I want him to remember who was being jailed. It wasn't D.K. Shukumar for his land denotification and for his corruption, big time corruption was jailed. You're talking about JD JDS? I don't know what morality he has to talk about JDS. And today, if BJP is in the central, it's all because of Anna Hazare, who sat for Anshan, and the way the Congress has been minting money, looting India, and now also the Congress has been looting. He has to talk about that. What happened to...
I was asking about the JDS, how you guys are going to really go forward from here. But anyhow, I understand, of course, the legal recourse still remains moving the top court of India. We'll, of course, probably see that happening. But definitely at this point in time, I must say for the JDS, things not looking good. With that single MP that they have being disqualified, they do have a lot of rethinking to do. I thank all our panelists for joining us. We are slipping into a quick break as we are coming to you live from Sriharikota. On the other side, we are also going to be bringing you some scientists from ISRO speaking about the Aditya L1 mission. Don't go anywhere.